In this video, I'm taking a project from concept to final render, all done in D5 3.0. This new update claims to give you a smooth workflow from early ideas all the way to final visuals. That's a big claim, and I'm skeptical. So let's test it and see how it actually performs. This is the model I'm using. I modeled it in Revit and then brought it into SketchUp. Next to the D5 render icon, you'll now see there's a new D5 Lite icon. So let's start with that. But if you're wondering about the project, it is inspired by a project from the Ranch Mine. Their work is absolutely amazing, and I randomly came across this desert house and I thought it would be perfect for this test. So D5 Lite is a lighter version of D5, made for the early stages of design. It works directly inside SketchUp, so you don't need to export or re-import anything. It also mixes AI with real-time rendering. To use the AI feature, you first have to go to a scene and take a screenshot of your SketchUp model. The AI rendering runs in the cloud, so it doesn't slow your computer down. It also comes with ready-made styles for architecture, interiors, and landscape. You can choose how closely it sticks to your model, but I left mine on the default setting. You can also upload a reference image, and then you can add your prompt. I used ChatGPT to help write mine because otherwise it would have been very basic, and I left the other settings as they were and I clicked generate. These are the images it produced. They do take a little while to generate, but the quality is really good. And honestly, some of these could pass as final renders. A few are a bit heavy on vegetation, but overall the structure is quite accurate. Now let's talk about the real-time rendering in D5 Lite. It works a bit like the old Live Sync feature, but it's more tightly integrated. So any changes you make in SketchUp, like materials or lighting, will show up straight away. So it's mainly designed for quick testing and exploring ideas. I didn't used to keep Live Sync on all of the time because I did find it slowed my computer down. But this feels a lot smoother and I actually enjoyed working with it. You can also bring assets into SketchUp as proxies, which helps with performance. Just be aware that if proxies show up in your AI screenshot, the results can look a little strange. But also, this should improve with future updates. So overall, once I got used to D5 Lite, it didn't interrupt my workflow. I stayed in SketchUp the whole time and didn't have to stop just to set up renders. I tested facade patterns and could see whether the repetition and depth worked at this scale. And when placing trees and outdoor elements, I could design how the building sits in its landscape and how the spaces work together. I also changed the massing and roof geometry and could judge form and proportion without setting up a render. Finally, it helped me decide the main view early on and check whether the building felt calm and balanced. So for me, D5 Lite just made things faster and easier at the concept stage without getting in my way. But now I'm ready to move into the final rendering stage in D5 Render. And D5 claims that the workflow shouldn't break here. So this is the moment that really matters. That's perfect. The scene is completely there, even with the vegetation that I added earlier. So let's keep going. I started by adding materials from the D5 library. I tested a few ground textures, but I found that this one was the best, I think. I brightened it up and increased the height so it didn't look flat. And then I added a concrete material to the path, glass to the window, and concrete again to the base of the building. Now for the walls, I tested a new feature called AI Material Snap. So you upload an image, select a material from the image, and D5 will turn it into a usable material, which is pretty nice. Then I started adding plants and assets. This cactus looks like a giant pickle, so I scaled it down and fixed the proportions. You can press V to switch between move and scale. I then added shrubs, rocks, and stones, and I like using the path tool because it's faster and easier on performance. I usually add randomness to rotation, spacing, and scale, but I actually forgot this time. Now I repeated the same process for the rocks at the front. I also added some background trees, scaled them down, and I also lowered it under the horizon so that they read more like shrubs. Now I changed the timber to stone. I felt like it matched the surrounding better, but it kinda looked flat because previously D5 used parallax displacement. But now when you turn on true displacement in the settings, D5 actually adds real geometry. You can control how detailed it is by increasing the subdivision. Now the height map is doing the work, so you don't need to model every stone by hand. Now let's add some unique assets using D5 Works. If I go to the D5 launcher, okay, not the asset library, there's now a new online button. This is where more assets live, and they come from both D5 and the community. It also means that the asset library keeps growing with models that are made specifically for D5 Render. So I'll download this sofa to show you. And once it's downloaded, you just click and paste it into the scene. Next up is image to 3D. So inside AI model generation, you now have both text to 3D and image to 3D. With image to 3D, you can upload one or more photos of an object, and D5 will turn it into a 3D model. So I'm using this media wall as an example. This is so useful because modeling furniture from scratch can take a long time, especially if you're not experienced. The generation took about 4.5 minutes, but once it was done, I downloaded it and dropped it straight into the scene. I've tried other image to 3D tools before, and this is on the same level as some expensive top tier ones. Side by side, it looks surprisingly good. The fact that it's built directly into D5 Render is kind of wild. So this was the result from D5 Lite, and this is the first render from D5 Render. It was a good start, but the image felt too cool for a desert scene, and the reflections in the glass were also annoying me. I then spent time adjusting exposure and effects. I tried yellow glass. It did look very interesting. Maybe it was a little bit too intense. The environment still wasn't right, so instead of adjusting everything manually, I used AI Atmosphere Match, so you can upload a reference image and D5 will set the lighting and environment automatically. Wow, now it feels like a desert. Someone commented on my videos once that the render is really flat, so now I've been trying to really avoid flat looking renders. Someone else commented that if you adjust lighting in clay mode, that kind of helps, and it does. It really does. Now the yellow glass was too strong, so I had to switch it back to normal glass, but I added a subtle yellow tint. This was the moment I realized the update was really gonna be tested. Not when everything's going well, but when you start changing your mind. Now the first thing that annoyed me was the road. It felt too far away, so I moved it closer by 9 meters. 9. Normally that kind of change would be annoying, but this time with D5 I could just update the model and move things around. And then I realized the whole scene felt too busy, so I removed all of the random rocks and plants. Now because the view was more zoomed in, most of the trees disappeared from the frame anyway, and honestly I didn't mind. It kind of felt cleaner and more focused. And then I added plants to this rocky path, and oh my god, this made such a difference. Accidentally, this became my main view. It's slightly off center, which part of me doesn't love, so I wanted to try something different. Let me know what you think. Now for this export, I added the AI channel because normally I wouldn't trust an image straight out of the software. I take it into Photoshop and fix whatever isn't working. But this time, I'm not gonna do that. And whether D5 holds up or not will really decide how I feel about this whole update. D5 Render has AI tools for post-processing, so there's AI Enhancer, Style Transfer, and in painting. So AI Enhancer sharpens the image and cleans up noise. AI Style Transfer lets you copy the look and feel of another image. In painting is for fixing specific problem areas. So I'll start with AI Enhancer. You can select individual areas, but I'm gonna leave everything on the default setting and see what it does. At first the changes are quite subtle, but you can see it adding more realism and detail to the plants, walls, materials, and the road. I'm not a fan of what it did to the sand, so I'm gonna use the in-painting tool and just select that area. And yeah, that already looks so much better. And with that, the design workflow is complete. So in the end, did D5 3.0 actually give me an unbroken workflow? I would say so, yeah. From the early ideas right through to the final images, I could keep designing without constantly jumping between different programs to export things, find models, and making last-minute design decisions were quick and easy. Just remember that you don't need to learn or own loads of different software, because with just SketchUp and D5 Render, you can really achieve a lot. I'm always happy to test new updates from D5. The team keeps improving the tool and actually listens to their community. Honestly, what's not to love? So make sure you update D5 Render to the latest update and try out the new features and let me know what you think. I'm Rasha Shururu and I will see you next time.